Welcome to the Global Goal Studio. Our guests are Kerry Kennedy, Rashad Robinson, and Alicia Garza. COVID has exposed even further inequalities when it comes to how the coronavirus affects minorities. The COVID Racial Data Tracker, a collaboration between the COVID Tracking Project and Boston University Center for Anti-Racist Research, reports that Black people are dying at 2.4 times the rate of white people, and that Black people account for 21% of COVID-19 deaths where race is known. Mr. Robinson, were you surprised when you heard how disproportionate those numbers were, and if so, why?
I'm absolutely not surprised. Inequality is not unfortunate like a car accident. It's been manufactured. So there's a whole set of choices that have been made that have got us here. Choices about where we invest, choices about what we have access to, choices about how taxes sort of are deployed, and as a result, the type of resources communities have. It also goes into the fact that we continue to talk about the systems that harm and hurt Black people in a sort of passive voice, and we talk about Black folks in an active voice. Just the idea of saying that Black people are dying of COVID at higher rates, and not that Black people are being killed, because there has been a set of choices from corporations, from how we deliver healthcare in this country and all sorts of other things. And so corporations and financial decisions are killing Black people. Black people are not simply dying, no more than Black people are not more likely, Black people are not less likely to get loans from the bank. Banks are less likely to give loans to Black people. Black people are not less likely to get jobs in tech. Tech companies are less likely to hire Black people. We have to also, if we're going to get to the structural change of this problem, start actually also saying what we mean, because by saying what we mean, we don't have people trying to fix us and our families, focusing on what are Black people eating, or financial literacy programs so we can get loans from banks designed not to give them to us, or mentorship and pipeline programs to help us do better inside of racist job structures that were designed for us not to succeed. We have to change the structures, not the people. And that will make it to a point where we're not surprised by numbers that are actual result of designed structures and manufactured decisions.
Great, thank you for making that distinction, Rashad. I'm curious to know, how would the Black Lives Matter movement been affected if COVID-19 had not happened? What would it have looked like? Alicia, what do you think?
Well, it's hard to predict, but I can say that one of the things that we know is that COVID-19 relief and recovery is essential for Black communities. And at the Black Futures Lab and the Black to the Future Action Fund, we have developed a COVID-19 relief and recovery plan for Black America, because, as my brother Rashad says, Black people are being killed by COVID-19, and that is a result of a lack of corporate accountability, and it's also a result of a lack of democracy for Black people in the United States and around the world. These kinds of disparities are not accidental, as Rashad said. They are as a result of a set of choices. Our COVID-19 relief and recovery plan for Black America lays out a set of different choices that we can make right now in relationship to Black communities to ensure a just relief and recovery plan. Some of those things include fully funding free and fair elections, making sure that Black people are not dispossessed of our vote as we are in the midst of a global pandemic that was completely preventable. Another piece of our COVID-19 relief plan includes making sure that people get stimulus checks, not just for 1 month or 2 months, but for the duration of this pandemic. These are the kinds of choices that we could make in this country and around the world that would ensure that Black people are not being killed at disproportionate rates as a result of not having access to the things that we need to live well.
Kerry Kennedy, I wonder if I can throw a big question to you in a short amount of time here. Police have been the focus of many of these protests. How do we go from protests to actually reform, especially given the political environment we have right now?
Well, first of all, we all have to vote, as Alicia said. And I just want to go back to what Rashad was talking about. You know, the the financial industry is $70 trillion. The $70 trillion industry, it's literally all the money in the world. What percentage of that is controlled by women and minority-owned firms? The answer is less than 2% globally. So even if we fix the racial justice system overnight, even if we fix the policing overnight, it will be for naught until we make sure that Black communities, communities of color, women, people living in poverty have that access to financial resources. We have to radically change our entire financial system if we want justice.
That's a great point. We're going to take another short break. Please stay with us. You're watching the Global Goal Studio.
This year, teachers are learning new ways to teach. Parents are learning to lesson plan. And young minds are learning a new normal. This year, we are all students. At Verizon, we're enabling the education that students deserve. With credentialed teacher training, free lesson plans for parents, and tech-enabled solutions for schools nationwide, it's Citizen Verizon in action, our plan for economic, environmental, and social advancement.